Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, my fellow Americans, September 18, 1787 was the last day of the United States Constitution Convention. James McHenry, a delegate from Maryland, notes in his records that a lady by the name Elizabeth Powell asked Dr. Franklin, that's Benjamin Franklin, I suppose, "What have we got, a republic or a monarchy?" Benjamin Franklin replied, "A republic, if you can keep it." And so on that day, the United States Constitution was born. With that United States Constitution, in Article 3, Section 1, the Supreme Court was established. The article states that the judicial power of the United States shall be vested in one Supreme Court. And so, over the years, we've had 9 justices who serve in the Supreme Court. The justices are appointed by the president, who is the executive of the government. And his decisions or his appointments are ratified or approved by the advice of the Senate. The justices of the Supreme Court serve for a lifetime, meaning that once they are appointed, they will stay, make decisions until they either sit incapacitated, resign, or die. That's when a new justice will be approved. The justices are approved by presidents from either side, meaning that a Democrat can appoint justices that he thinks suit the values and decisions that Americans want to be made. A Republican would do the same. And as we know, President Bush, President Clinton, President Obama, President Trump have all approved justices, including even President Biden has approved justices to serve in the Supreme Court. And this year, being an election year, there's going to be a lot of politics. Some of that politics has already started. I mean, they didn't start now, they started even last year when the former president, Donald Trump, is trying to get back to the White House. But one thing that has made me make this video is the state of the United States politics. As we speak, I haven't made up my mind how I'm going to vote because there are serious issues on the table. The campaign having already started. The two parties have issues. One of the issues is the biggest is whether the former president, Trump, should be allowed to run for office. He is currently having cases in court. Some of those cases are about whether he actually committed insurgency or some revolts or serious issues. Issues that are being articulated by the Democrats is that he is being accused of election tampering, of trying to change the outcome of the previous election. Trump and his supporters are saying that no, he didn't. He exercised his freedom of expression. So the courts are going to decide, and we, the citizen, are going to sit and watch and wait for the verdict. But here's a question. Who are the justices, and are they impartial? We were told we have a republic if we can keep it. Keeping this republic, which is democratic, means that the judges have to be impartial. But can they? Considering that the people who appointed them are some of the candidates. Rather, the candidates who are now running appointed some of the judges. So will those judges be impartial? My thought is that they ought to be, but will they? So, supposing a judge, or supposing the majority of the judges rule that Trump is immune from prosecution for the things that he did while he was in office. Trump has argued that he is immune even if he crossed the line. The other side, which is the Justice Department, and the Justice Department is good to point out that the Justice Department is appointed by the current president. So the Justice Department, including the independent counsel, are stating that no, Trump participated in an insurrection. And with that insurrection, he should not stand for elections. He should not be allowed to stand for elections. Some states have already removed him from the ballot, from the ballot. And so the Supreme Court will also be deciding that whether Trump should be in the ballot or not. So my thought is that the justices that were appointed by Trump are likely, I'm not saying they will, but they are likely to assert that Trump is eligible to run again, and that he might not have participated in the insurrection, that he did not cause the insurrection. They can rule that way. On the other hand, they may also rule that he cannot be tried for whatever he did when he was president. I mean, that is possible. So if they do rule that way, where do we stand? I have heard it said before. The justices of the Supreme Court, their judgment is always right. Their judgment will always be right. But is it always right, really? No, actually. Their judgment can be wrong. But the agreement of the Constitution is that their judgment will be right because it's final. That is why their judgment is right, because it's final. Now, if they rule that Trump is eligible for election or should not be charged for whatever he did while he was president, and that while a United States president is above the law and cannot be prosecuted for whatever he did, even if he crosses the line, as Trump asserts. If they rule that way, their judgment is final. And here's the irony. Trump wants that. Some of the Republicans who support him want that because they want the Republican candidate to be president. Because when the Republican candidate is president, they will pass issues that are for their benefit, issues that are conservative. The Democrats, if the judgment is against Trump, Trump will be barred from running, and Biden will run against someone else. And if Biden wins, the Democrats and the liberals are going to put in the policies and agenda that they like. So that's what it's going to be. But again, here's the irony, that if the judges rule that Trump should not be prosecuted, that he is above board, that whatever he did them in his executive power and in the course of his duty, he cannot be prosecuted for it. And especially they are here now, they will say that since the Congress is the only body that can check the evils or the ills of the president, and if they did not convict him, therefore the Supreme Court cannot pass judgment on him. If they rule like that, aren't they just going to be giving Biden all the power that Biden needs? Biden, by virtue of this ruling that is coming, that will say that Trump was right and anything he did it within his power, and nobody can prosecute him, and that he has a right to do whatever he's doing. Biden is the president right now, and he has the executive power. And therefore, if the Supreme Court rules that way, Biden will be given the power to be able to say, I'm using my executive power and executive authority to state that this gentleman here should not run for president. I am declaring him a terrorist. I am declaring him an insurrectionist. Therefore, he should not be allowed to run. That's what I'm thinking. And that's the irony of this Constitution. Democracy, I think it has been stated somewhere that democracy is the best form of dictatorship apart from all others. That means that the Constitution isn't perfect. Our Constitution isn't perfect. It is still growing. And like the Bible or any other book of religion, which the followers must believe in, belief is the cornerstone of religion. Constitution, like it happened in September 1787, it was an agreement. There were a lot of people who did not agree with it, but they came together and they said, this is what we agree on. Therefore, it is about consensus. It's about agreement, which at this small point is very far apart. The United States is very far apart in agreeing on one thing. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my take for today. I hope that this year is going to be peaceful. I hope that the candidates are going to be gentlemen or lady, that they're going to campaign on issues. And I hope that the Supreme Court does the right thing. I don't know what they'll do, but I hope that they do the right thing so that the country is peaceful and everybody is happy to realize the American dream. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my take. Cheers.